The stalwart Ember drifted quietly through the cold darkness of space. It was a small freighter ship, carrying goods between distant planets. Captain Marin sat in the command chair, watching the endless stars outside the window. Her crew was busy with their tasks, but the long journey had made the ship feel too silent. Suddenly, the ship's radio crackled to life. An unknown signal cut through the quiet. It was faint but urgent, a distress call. Marin frowned. This part of space was usually empty. No ships came here, and no one sent signals without reason. "Captain," the communications officer said, "we are picking up a distress beacon nearby. It is coming from an unregistered escape pod drifting near the asteroid belt." Marin's eyes narrowed. "Set a course. Let's see who needs help." The stalwart Ember moved carefully toward the signal. Outside, jagged rocks floated in space, casting long shadows. The escape pod was small, battered, and drifting slowly. Marin ordered the ship's robotic arms to grab it gently. Inside the airlock, the crew found a young alien girl. She was small, with skin that shimmered faintly, like moonlight, and large eyes that looked scared and tired. Her clothes were torn and she barely had the strength to stand. "Who are you?" Marin asked softly, stepping forward. The girl's eyes widened in fear. She spoke in a language the ship's translator did not understand at first. Then, with some help from the crew, she said broken words in Galactic Common. "Please, help. I run from them." Marin looked around at her crew. No one had ever seen a Zerellan up close before. The Zerellans were a mysterious alien race, known for their strict ways and powerful ships. Many people in the galaxy feared them. But this girl was different. She did not look dangerous, she looked scared. The ship's medic rushed to her side, checking her wounds carefully. "She is weak and hurt. She needs rest and food." Marin nodded. "Bring her to the med bay. We will help her." As the girl lay on a soft bed, she whispered again, "Please, don't send me back. They will kill me." Marin sat beside her. "Who will kill you?" "Why are you running?" The girl's eyes filled with tears. "My people, they want to take me back. For something bad." Jake Mercer sat quietly in his quarters aboard Orion's Reach, staring out at the endless stars shining beyond the thick glass. It was hard to believe how much had changed since the day he simply offered help to a stranger with a broken suit. That small act of kindness had pulled him into a world he never expected, one filled with ancient traditions, powerful politics, and new connections. Now, after the choice he made to stand with Lyrakai and the Threxari, Jake felt a calm strength within him. This was no longer about duty or pressure. It was about something deeper. The station was buzzing with preparations for a celebration, the final ceremony to honor the bond between Jake and Lyrakai. It would be a day to mark the beginning of a new alliance and the hope for a peaceful future between humans and Threxari. Jake looked over at Lyrakai, who was helping with the decorations. Her violet eyes sparkled with excitement and something softer. Trust. "Are you ready?" she asked, turning to him with a gentle smile. Jake nodded. More than ever. The ceremony took place in the Grand Hall, filled with glowing lights and beings from many worlds. Leaders, diplomats, and citizens gathered to witness the union, a symbol of unity that stretched far beyond two individuals. As Jake stood beside Lyrakai, the matriarch spoke to the crowd. "Today, we celebrate not just a bond between two souls, but the joining of two peoples. Through courage and kindness, Jake Mercer has shown us the power of understanding and hope." The words echoed through the hall, and Jake felt a warmth spread through him. This was more than he had ever dreamed. When the ceremony ended, Jake and Lyrakai stepped outside into the gardens. The soft light of the glowing plants made everything look magical. "I never imagined my life would come to this," Jake said softly. "From fixing machines to being part of something bigger." Lyrakai took his hand. "You did not just help me, you helped all of us." Jake smiled. "I just wanted to be nice." "Sometimes," Lyrakai said, "being nice can change the universe." Over the following weeks, Jake and Lyrakai worked closely to build their new life together. They attended meetings, planned joint missions, and shared their cultures openly. Jake learned more about Threxari traditions and Lyrakai discovered human ways. Their bond became a bridge, one that connected two very different worlds. Earth and Threxar began new projects together, technology exchanges, cultural events, and plans for peaceful exploration. The alliance grew stronger, and with it, hope for the future. Jake knew challenges would come. There would be misunderstandings, fears, and setbacks. But now, he believed that kindness and courage could overcome them. One evening, as Jake and Lyrakai watched ships sail past the station's windows, she turned to him. "What do you see in the future?" she asked. Jake smiled, thinking of all they had faced. "I see a world where being kind isn't just a small act but the way we live," he said. "A future where people, no matter how different, can come together to build something amazing." Lyrakai nodded. "A future we will create together." Jake took her hand, feeling the strength of their bond. This was no longer about obligation or tradition. It was about hope, trust, and the promise of new beginnings. And it all started because he chose to be kind. The crew listened quietly. The girl's name was Kari, but she would not say more yet. She seemed afraid to talk. Later, the engineer Jonah approached the captain. "Captain, the girl's ship systems show strange energy inside her body. It's not normal, we should be careful." Marin nodded. "Keep a close watch. But right now she is just a scared child who needs help." The night passed slowly on. The stalwart Ember. The stars moved outside, but inside the ship, tension grew. Kari's presence was a mystery, and no one knew what dangers might come from it. Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang out. A message appeared on the screen. It was from a Zeralan warship. "We have detected our lost member," the message said. "Return her immediately or face consequences." Marin's face was hard. She looked at her crew. "We have a choice. Do we send her back to a fate she fears, or do we protect her, even if it means standing against a powerful enemy?" Kari's frightened eyes met Marin's. "Please," she whispered. "Help me." The captain took a deep breath. "No one gets left behind on my ship." The crew, prepared for whatever came next. Somewhere in the dark space, the stalwart Ember had just made a decision that would change their lives forever. The stalwart Ember moved deeper into the asteroid belt, its hull shining faintly under distant stars. Inside the ship, the crew was restless. Kari lay in the medbay, wrapped in blankets, but her eyes stayed wide open. She stared at the ceiling, lost in thought, as if remembering something painful. Jonah, the ship's youngest engineer, visited her quietly. He had a gentle way about him, and Kari seemed to trust him more than anyone else. Jonah held a small device, a broken translator that could help Kari speak more clearly. "I fixed it," Jonah said softly. "It should help you talk better." Kari blinked, hope shining in her eyes for the first time. "Thank you," she whispered. Jonah switched on the translator and the soft hum filled the room. Suddenly Kari's voice sounded clearer. She tried to speak, but the words came slowly, as if her tongue was still learning the language. "They want to kill me," she said, "because I know things I should not, things my people hide." Jonah's eyes widened. "What do you mean? What do you know?" Kari shook her head. "Not now. They are watching. They can find me if I speak too much." Marin stood at the door, listening carefully. The captain had come to respect Kari's courage, but she knew this story was more complicated than it seemed. Later that day, Marin called the crew together in the main hall. "We have an important decision," she said. "Kari is not just a lost child. She carries secrets that may affect us all." The crew exchanged nervous glances. They were traders and explorers, not soldiers. But in space, danger came in many forms. Jonah stepped forward. "I've been working with Kari. She's smart and brave. She says her people want her dead because she refuses to follow their old rules. She wants freedom." Marin nodded. "Freedom is something humans understand well, but protecting her means risking a fight with the Zeralan Empire." A heavy silence filled the room. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up something. Outside, a small drone was approaching fast. It was one of the Zerellan hunter machines, cold, silent, and dangerous. "Prepare for defense," Marin ordered. The crew moved quickly, their training kicking in. Kari stood by the control panel, her hands trembling. "I can help," she said. "I know how to stop them." Marin looked at her. "Can you?" Kari nodded. "I learned their secrets. I can try." Together, Kari and Jonah worked at the ship's controls. She showed Jonah how to activate an old stealth system hidden in the ship's hull. The stalwart ember flickered and vanished from enemy scanners. The drone zoomed past, unable to find them. The crew cheered quietly. For the first time, Kari smiled, a small, hopeful smile. That night, Marin visited Kari again. "Why did you run away?" she asked gently. Kari looked down. "My people follow old laws. They want to control everything, even who lives and who dies. I could not live like that." Marin nodded slowly. "You're safe here. We will protect you." Kari looked at the stars outside the window. "Thank you," she whispered. "I want to learn about your world, about your people." Marin smiled. "Then you will be part of our sea." "Fruzyu." As the stalwart ember moved silently through space, a new bond formed, one of trust, hope, and the promise of freedom. Days passed aboard the stalwart ember, but the danger was far from over. The crew worked carefully, always watching the stars and their sensors. Kari stayed mostly in the med bay or the small cabin Jonah helped prepare for her. She was quiet but thoughtful, often staring out the viewport as if searching for answers in the endless darkness. One morning, the GUI ship's main screen suddenly lit up with a new message. It came from a large Zerellan warship that had appeared at the edge of the system. The ship was sleek and powerful, its hull shimmering with advanced energy shields. The message was clear and cold. "Return Kari to the Zerellan Empire immediately. Failure to comply will be met with force." Marin stood tall in the command center, her hands gripping the edge of the console. The crew gathered around, faces tense but ready. Jonah spoke first. "They want her back. But why? What will happen if she goes?" Kari's voice was soft but steady. "They call it a sacrifice. A ritual my family forces. It is a tradition to keep power in their hands. They say it will save our people, but it means death for me." Marin's eyes hardened. "No one should die for someone else's tradition, not while I'm in command." The crew looked at her, their silent support growing. The Zerellan warship sent another message, this time with a warning. "Resistance is useless. Comply or be destroyed," Marin replied firmly. "The stalwart ember protects all aboard. We will not return Kari." The warship moved closer, its weapons powering up. The threat was real. Kari stepped forward. "I will not be their sacrifice. I will fight." Marin nodded. "You are not alone." The ship's engineer began preparing the engines for a quick escape. The crew secured weapons and shields. Every person on board knew this could be the start of a battle. But the stalwart ember was no ordinary freighter. Marin had faced dangers before, and her crew was skilled at surviving in space's wild edges. Kari joined Jonah in the engine room. "I know their ships. I can help make us faster and harder to find." Together they worked on the ship's engines, tuning them with careful hands and Kari's secret knowledge. The ship's old systems hummed with new life. Back on the bridge, Marin made a choice. "We won't run blindly. We will use the asteroid belt to hide and fight if needed." The ship slipped into the shadows of giant rocks and dust clouds. The warship searched, but the stalwart ember was clever. Suddenly, the warship launched several small drones to find the hidden ship. They moved fast and scanned everything. The crew held their breath. Kari's voice came steady. "I see them on the scanners. Wait for my signal." With careful timing, Kari activated a pulse from the ship's stealth system, disrupting the drone's sensors. One by one, the drones lost track and drifted away. The crew cheered quietly. For the first time, they felt hope. Marin smiled at Kari. You saved us. Kari looked at her, a new strength in her eyes. Maybe I can be more than just a fugitive. But the danger was not gone. The Zarellan warship retreated for now, but it would return with more force. Maren turned to her crew. We have made powerful enemies, but we will protect Kari and our ship. We fight for freedom, for her, and for all who choose it. Kari sat quietly afterward, thinking. She was far from home, chased by her own people. But here, on this human ship, she had found something new, hope and courage. She looked at the stars, whispering, "Maybe this is the place I was meant to find." The stalwart ember floated quietly in the shadows of the gas giant's thick rings. The asteroid belt was a dangerous place filled with floating rocks and debris from old space battles. Captain Maren knew this was their best chance to hide from the powerful Zarellan warship that hunted them. Inside the ship, the crew worked hard. They checked every system, repaired broken parts, and prepared for the possibility of a fight. But there was more at stake now, not just their lives, but the freedom of the young alien girl they had taken in. Kari sat in the small common room, watching the stars through a viewport. She was no longer just a frightened child. Her eyes showed determination. The humans had shown her kindness, and she wanted to help protect the ship and its crew. Jonah approached her quietly, holding a small tool. "I'm fixing the old stealth system," he said. "It might be our best chance to avoid the warship." Kari nodded. "I can help. I know their technology. I learned in secret." Together they moved to the engine room, where Kari showed Jonah hidden controls and energy patterns unknown to humans. Her knowledge was impressive, a secret she had kept even from her own people. Maren entered the room, watching the two work. "You're not just running from your past, Kari. You're fighting for your future." Kari looked up. "And I will fight for yours too." Outside, the rings of the gas giant glittered like shattered glass, hiding the stalwart ember from prying eyes. But the Zarellan warship was still out there, waiting and watching. The captain called a meeting in the command center. "We have to draw a line," she said firmly. "We will not hand Kari over. This is our home now. We stand together." The crew nodded. For many of them, protecting Kari was more than duty. It was a matter of honor. As preparations continued, Kari shared more of her story. Her people followed ancient rules that demanded obedience even at the cost of life. Those who broke the rules were punished harshly, sometimes with death disguised as a sacred ritual. "I refused to be part of that," Kari said softly. "So I ran." The crew listened with respect and sorrow. They understood the pain of losing freedom. Maren placed a steady hand on Kari's shoulder. "You will not lose your freedom here. You are safe with us." Days turned into nights, but there was no peace. The crew took shifts watching the sensors, ready for any attack. Kari trained with Jonah, learning more about human technology and teaching him what she knew. One evening, as the stalwart ember slipped through the asteroid field, the sensors detected movement, small ships approaching fast. The Zarellans were sending a fleet, the ship prepared for battle. Maren stood on the bridge, her voice calm but firm. "This is our home. We will defend it." The crew took their positions. The ship's old weapons hummed to life. Kari and Jonah manned the stealth controls, ready to hide or escape at a moment's notice. The Zarellan ships closed in, their energy weapons glowing bright. But the stalwart ember was fast and clever. Using the asteroid field for cover, they dodged and weaved. Through rocks and debris, Kari called out tactics, her voice steady despite the tension. "Use the shadows. Stay close to the bigger rocks. They won't risk crashing." The crew worked as one, trusting Kari's knowledge and Maren's leadership. After a tense chase, the Zarellan fleet pulled back, unable to catch the elusive freighter. The ship was safe for now. Maren looked at her crew. "We've shown them that humans don't give up easily. We fight for what we believe in." Kari smiled for the first time in days. "Thank you. You saved me." Maren nodded. "No one is left behind on this ship." As the stalwart ember moved, Away from the gas giant's rings, Kari felt a new hope grow inside her. She was no longer just running. She was fighting for a future, not just for herself, but for everyone who believed in freedom. The stalwart Ember slipped out from the hiding place near the gas giant, moving fast through the empty space. The crew was tense but ready. The Zerellan warship had not given up. It was hunting them still, sending small drones to find the freighter in the dark void. Captain Marin stood on the bridge, her eyes sharp on the sensor screen. "They've sent drones again," she said. "Prepare for chase. Everyone, stay alert." Kari sat beside Jonah, watching the flickering dots on the screen. "They won't stop until they find me," she said softly. "But we can stop the drones." Jonah smiled. "You've already saved us once. Let's do it again." The drones appeared like sharp, small stars, moving quickly through the debris field. The stalwart Ember darted between broken ships and floating rocks from old battles, using the field as a shield. Marin ordered, "Keep close to the debris. Use it to break their sensors." The ship weaved carefully, twisting and turning with skill. Kari studied the drone's patterns. "They search in groups of 3, she said. "We can trick them if we separate their signals." Jonah nodded and adjusted the ship's signal jammers. "Let's try to confuse their scanners." The drones closed in, shining bright lights to scan the freighter. Suddenly, the stalwart Ember released small signal beacons. The drones chased, the false signals separating from each other. Kari pointed at the screen. "Now, let's cut their power." Using knowledge from her home, Kari helped Jonah activate an energy pulse from the ship's weapon system. The pulse sent out waves of electricity through space, hitting the drones like lightning. One by one, the drones lost power and fell silent, floating lifeless in space. The crew cheered quietly. For the first time since Kari arrived, they felt hope rising. But the chase was not over. Suddenly, the warship appeared, larger and closer than before. Its weapons glowed, ready to fire. Marin's voice was calm, but firm. "Brace for impact. We will not go down without a fight." The stalwart Ember shook as the warship fired energy blasts. The freighter dodged most attacks but was hit lightly on one side. Sparks flew from the hull. Kari stayed at Jonah's side, her hands steady on the controls. "We need to get closer to the asteroid field," she said. "The warship won't risk crashing." Marin ordered the ship to speed toward the field. The warship followed, careful but determined. The stalwart Ember twisted through the tight spaces between floating rocks. Its small size and agility gave it an advantage. Kari's voice grew strong. "If we can reach the old wreckage, we can hide." Jonah adjusted the ship's engines. Almost there. Suddenly, the freighter passed through a cloud of old space. Debris, broken ships, lost cargo, and shattered metal. It was a dangerous place, but the only safe one. The warship slowed, unwilling to risk its powerful vessel in the wreckage. Marin smiled. "We've won this round." The crew relaxed for a moment, but Marin knew this was only temporary. The Zerellans would not give up easily. Kari looked at the stars again, her eyes shining. "I never thought I would find friends who fight for me." Marin placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're part of this crew now. We fight for each other." That night, the ship was quiet. The crew rested, but their hearts were full of new courage. Kari sat by the viewport, watching the stars slowly move. She thought about her home, the rules she had escaped, the family she had left behind. But now she was free. For the first time, she dreamed of a future not ruled by fear. The stalwart Ember sailed on, a small beacon of hope in the endless dark. The stalwart Ember drifted through a quiet part of space, far from any busy trade routes. The crew worked steadily, repairing damage from the last chase and preparing for whatever might come next. Kari sat with Jonah in the small workshop, helping him fix a broken communications relay. Jonah looked up from the tools, smiling. "If we get this working, we might send a message that others can hear, maybe even find allies." Kari nodded. "We need help. My people are powerful, but not everyone agrees with what they do." Together they finished the repairs. Jonah adjusted the controls and the ship's comm system hummed to life. Marin watched from the bridge, hopeful but cautious. "Be careful," she warned. "Sending a message like that could make more enemies." Kari took a deep breath and began to speak into the microphone. Her voice was calm but filled with emotion. "This is Kari of the Zirellan people. I have escaped from a cruel tradition that demands my death. I ask for protection, for freedom, and for those who believe in justice to stand with me." Jonah sent the message out through the ship's relay, broadcasting it across neutral space, places where many different species listened but did not fight. The crew waited quietly, unsure what would happen. Within hours, responses began to come in. Ships from different alien races, some curious, others sympathetic, sent messages of support. Many had heard stories of the Zirellan Empire's harsh ways but had no proof until now. A human ambassador aboard a nearby diplomatic station sent a strong message. "Kari is under Earth's protection. Any attack on her or the stalwart Ember will be considered an act against the United Federation of Planets." The news spread quickly through the galaxy. On the stalwart Ember, the crew gathered around the screen, watching messages and news reports. Kari's story had touched many hearts. The once quiet girl now stood at the center of a growing movement for change, but the Zirellan Empire was not pleased. The warship that had hunted them sent a cold reply. "The fugitive will be returned. Resistance will be crushed." Marin turned to her crew. "We have made powerful enemies, but we have also found friends. We are not alone." Kari looked at the stars through the window, feeling a mix of fear and hope. "I never imagined my voice could reach so far," Jonah smiled. "Your story is stronger than their weapons." The captain nodded. "This is only the beginning. We will stand with you, Kari, no matter what." As the stalwart Ember prepared to leave the quiet sector, the crew felt a new sense of purpose. They were not just running from danger. They were fighting for freedom and justice across the stars. And somewhere in the dark, far away from the freighter, new lights blinked on distant ships. Allies were coming. The stalwart Ember sailed quietly through the endless dark of space. The stars outside the windows were distant and cold, but inside the ship, there was a warmth growing. Hope, courage, and a new sense of family. Kari stood on the observation deck, her eyes fixed on a bright blue planet glowing in the distance. "Is that Earth?" she asked Jonah, who was beside her. "Yes," Jonah said with a smile. "Your new home if you want it." Kari's lips curved in a small smile. "I never thought I would see it. A place where I could be free." Captain Marin joined them, her voice steady. "You don't have to just run anymore, Kari. You can build a future here with us." The past months had been hard. The stalwart Ember had escaped danger many times, fought enemies, and made powerful friends. Kari had grown stronger, not just in body but in spirit. She had become part of the crew, no longer a scared runaway, but a brave explorer. The crew gathered in the common room to celebrate. Jonah shared stories of their narrow escapes while Marin talked about the future and the new missions ahead. Kari looked around, feeling something she had never felt before: belonging. Later she went to the ship's small lab, where she studied alien technology and shared her knowledge with the crew. She worked with Jonah on new designs, helping the stalwart Ember become faster and stronger. One evening, Marin found Kari staring at a small model of a starship on her desk. "You're thinking about your people again?" Marin said gently. Kari nodded. "I don't hate them, I just want to change what they believe. Maybe one day they can be free too." Marin smiled. "You have the courage to change the galaxy, Kari, and we will help you." As the stalwart Ember moved closer to Earth's orbit, Kari looked out at the blue and green world below. It was beautiful, full of life and promise. She whispered, "I didn't know stars could be kind." The ship docked at a space station orbiting Earth. The crew prepared for a new chapter, one filled with challenges, friendships, and hope. Kari stepped off the ship, her heart full of dreams. She was no longer just a runaway alien girl. She was a symbol of freedom, a bridge between worlds and a new kind of star shining brightly in the galaxy. And as the station's doors closed behind her, Kari knew one thing for sure. Her journey was only just beginning.